Hi everyone, my name is Manto. If you have looked at the poster of today's event, or if you have read the social media post, and by any chance you look at my face, you realize two things. First, I cut my hair. I think I look better like this. Second, I am the only student in today's event. Maybe you're wondering, why? Why TEDxEDHEC team would like to invite a student like me to speak, along with so many amazing speakers? Let me tell you why. Apart from being a student, I actually have a very good job, and with a very cool title also. And here you go. The CCO of Mental Ip Company, aka the Chief Comparison Officer of my own life. In today's generation, every one of you is a Chief Comparison Officer of your own life because we are facing comparison like never before. Today, I want to talk about comparison and more precisely, how I overcome the toxic comparison in my life. To start with, maybe you're wondering, wait, maybe this guy never faced any comparison in his life, right? But that's wrong. Let me tell you why. Maybe it's obvious enough, I am from Asia, and more specifically a place called Honk Kong. And if you have no idea about Hong Kong, that's okay. I give you one fact about Hong Kong. We Hong Kongers like to compare. Comparison is deeply rooted in our culture. When we are young, we fight hard to get into a good school. We fight hard again in public examination because that examination selects only around 20% of us to go to university. And then an internship, a job, we compare ourselves with other people on where we live, whether or not we have an attractive partner, etc., etc. Comparison is something that I grew up with, and perhaps just like most of you. And one of the most recent examples of me handling comparison is actually coming to this beautiful country, France. In 2019, I finished my bachelor in Hong Kong, and instead of finding a job immediately in Hong Kong, I decided that I want to do a master's degree in France. However, it was a very rare decision because in Hong Kong people mindset, we like to maximize our gains in the shortest period of time. Especially in my case, I studied in a fairly good university in Hong Kong, so finding a job for me is the most straightforward and safest option for me. Well, indeed, when I see my friends, many of them, they find a very good job, and they have a very good foreseeable career path ahead of them. Well, comparatively, I am going the complete opposite of this mindset. Now, I am spending 3 extra years in a complete new culture, trying to construct something in my life. When I first came to France, I didn't speak the language, I didn't have any network, and all I have is so many unknowns that I have to deal with. And perhaps some of you can relate to this story. In our life is usually decent, right? Until the comparison kicks in. When comparison kicks in, we feel insecure. And today, I want to share to you how I see comparison differently now, and I hope that my ways can help you also. First, it's about time. When I compare myself to other people, I always look at the time frame instead of a particular time moment. In today's fast culture, we want everything to be so fast. We order something online, we want them to be delivered in 1 second. We post something online, right? We want the reactions, we want the likes right away. Indeed, we should be grateful that technology has speed up a lot of things, but if we want everything to be so fast, it is extremely dangerous in comparison. And to understand this, let's think about who we compare to most of the time. Today, I am fortunate enough to bring two friends with me. First, let me present you Michael. Michael, he is a young, good-looking, smart investment banker who likes to post on LinkedIn to share how good he is. Right? Of course, he is rich, stylish, intelligent, and we often compare ourselves to him, right? First, because you always see him on LinkedIn, but also we all like to achieve amazing things and reach the top spot that everyone can recognize us. Then let me introduce Mary. Mary, she is a beautiful influencer on Instagram with more than 200,000 followers. Her favorite activity is to share her favorite hotel and also restaurant, no matter where she goes. Again, we like to compare with Mary because who would say no to that influence and lifestyle that she enjoys? However, maybe there's one thing we seldom pay attention to, and that is they're actually very rare. Well, in fact, you won't really see lots of them in the street, and more precisely, they are the top 1%, if not the top 0.1% of the people in that domain. And today, I don't want to say anything like, you know what, just compare yourself to the average people. Because I know that if you compare yourself with other people, you compare yourself to the top people. And to me, that's normal. But the question is, do you give yourself enough time? In today's fast culture, we want everything to be so fast, but achieve amazing things requires a lot of time. When we do comparison, we very often look at the time at this particular moment. For example, my friend has a better achievement than me now, so I am sad. But then, unfortunately, we seldom really look at the future, and we seldom give ourselves enough time to achieve amazing things. And that's the first lesson I learned in comparison. We basically spend a lot of time to think how we are worse than other people, but we are not so lenient to ourselves. We seldom give that time to ourselves to achieve great things. The second reason why we suffer a lot from comparison is also because the way how we compare to other people. When we compare to other people, very often we like to compare to different people at their perfect side. I know that sounds very abstract. Let me give you an example again. Imagine Michael again. Investment banker likes to compare also, right? And if Michael wants to compare to Elon Musk, you know what Michael will not do? Michael will not compare every aspect of his life to Elon Musk. So he will not compare, let's say, intelligence, family, study, etc., to Elon Musk. Instead, what Michael will do is the following. Michael compare his intelligence to a very smart person like Elon Musk. Then his body to a very strong person like Dwayne Johnson. Then his hair with a very beautiful person like Justin Bieber. That's how we compare to other people. We compare to so many different people, and usually on one aspect, and that is their perfect side. And then let me show you one simple trick that you can turn the whole comparison around. But this time, same people, instead, you compare your body to Elon Musk, your hair to Dwayne Johnson. But by the way, hair is a very sensitive topic recently. And if you can, try not to compare your hair with other people. And make sure don't tell a joke about hair. And what about intelligence to Justin Bieber? You see, by changing the angles of comparison, you change the whole comparison game. And that's what I do every time. When I compare myself to other people, I make sure that I put enough aspects and angles. In my case, maybe that's true that people back home may have a better career than me. But I also have a better pain au chocolat. Well, I was just kidding on this one. But what about quality of life? I am now healthier, less stressed. What about new friends? Today, some of my friends came here to support this CCO, and I've never met them if I've never came here. What about new culture? Before coming to France, I thought that French people are lazy and they don't work. I was wrong. French people work a lot, but after they complain about work, doing the apéro with friends. See, every time when I add new angles, I change the whole comparison. And of course, your life will be so miserable if you just compare yourself to different people at their perfect side. That's why every time when I believe that my life is miserable, I try to see things from more angles. And honestly, every time when I do this, I realize that there's something I can be grateful for. Until now, I share 2 ways that I use to better compare to other people. I will call them a smarter way. First, give yourself more time to achieve amazing things. Second, do not just compare yourself at one angle and at the perfect side. However, it's not enough. The more I grew up, the more I realized that comparison can be so dangerous because of the fact that it is never ending. I remember when I was young, I wanted to become like my cool classmates. Do you think I became happier when I became like them? No. Because by the moment I became like them, I will have another person that I will compare to, and then another person. Comparison is so tiring because our life is completely driven by other people, and we seldom really look at our life and appreciate our growth. So here comes to the final ultimate tip. Instead of spending a lot of time to think how you're worse than other people and compare yourself to other people, try to do one thing. Try to compare yourself to one person, and that is yourself. When I say compare to yourself, what I mean is compare to the same you, but a year ago, a month ago, or even a day ago. Are you becoming that kind of person that you aim to become? Now, when people ask me how I overcome the comparison in my life, I always tell them the same thing. In my life, what matters the most is not how I am better or worse than other people, but my learnings, my progress, my improvement in my own journey. It has been almost 3 years now that I came to France, and I've never regretted my decision, not because I am better than anyone else, but because I am better than myself 3 years ago. So today, if you tell me that you struggle a little bit in comparison, let's try to do an exercise together. Simple exercise. Now, try to use 5 seconds to think of one thing that you have improved in the past year. It can be, I became better at coding, or I read more books last year. What about you? 5 seconds, one thing that you have improved. I believe that in these 5 seconds, many of you can think of something that you have improved in the past year. Try to focus more on that, because that's something matters the most in your life. Try to appreciate more your growth. At the end of the day, you are not living in anyone else's life but your own life. After this speech, I encourage you all to do one thing. At the end of every month, spend 5 minutes. 5 minutes to look at your own journey. What did you learn? What have you improved? And trust me, if you focus more on your own journey, you realize that there's so many things that you can be proud of yourself, and it is one of the best ways to overcome the toxic comparison with other people. Finally, before this CCO checks out, I want to repeat one sentence that helped me a lot in comparison. In our life, what matters the most is not how we are better or worse than other people, but our learnings, our progress, and our growth in our own journey. Thank you very much.